What is going on, everybody? It is Sunday, the weekend of Thanksgiving, and I remember on my last video I kind of said that, well, I wasn't really looking at anything for Black Friday, but I had been thinking about getting a drone for a long time, and one of the things about the drones that I liked was I've always been kind of into RC craft, so like RC trucks. I've flown some RC planes before. I wanted to get a drone for a long time, and my fiance, helped me out with Christmas, early Christmas present, and kind of just put a lot towards the funds towards getting the Phantom. Decided to pick up a DJI Phantom Professional. If you take a look at it, it's kind of dirty now because it's kind of crazy when you're flying it up in the air. The bugs get chewed up a lot, so you can see a lot of bug guts on it. You're flying this pretty high, so I'm going to actually show you guys how this operates and how it looks up in the air. One of the biggest things you got to realize when it comes to this type of drone is this is definitely it's definitely not a toy, because people can get hurt from it. Just recently over in the UK there was an incident where a child got its eyeball sliced in half, and he lost an eye from a family member that was flying the device. So it's kind of one of those things where you have to be really careful when you're flying this, because these spin at such a high speed. Even though it's a polycarbonate propeller, it's really dangerous. All right, let's set this up. So there's a few components that come with the kit. One of the biggest things is the actual drone itself, and I've installed propeller guards because I've flown this near my car and I want it to kind of be protective. So the battery itself is a 4480 milliamp hour battery. It's a 4S LiPo, so if you're familiar with hobbycraft type batteries, this is a LiPo battery and it's a 4S. So before I've used like 3S batteries, and they're pretty crazy batteries. But this is a 4S 4-cell LiPo battery. The remote, this is how the remote looks. The remote has what's called Light Bridge. So it doesn't connect to the unit via Wi-Fi. It has its own proprietary communication system, which has the capability of to go up to about 4 miles. And let's hook this up. It hooks directly to the phone. It doesn't run off a Wi-Fi signal, which I think is absolutely awesome. Let's turn on the remote. Okay. And next, it automatically starts the app. Hopefully you guys can see this. And I'm going to turn on the Phantom. Alright. You guys can take a look at it. It's fairly large. Oh, before I start this up, I want to show you guys the gimbal. It's a 3-axis gimbal, so I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm going to calibrate the unit in a second. But the camera on here, let me put this down so I can show you how it looks. So the camera actually pivots and moves as the drone moves, so it keeps it really stable. It's really awesome. That's probably one of the more expensive parts of the unit itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to calibrate it. And to calibrate it, it uses like GPS positioning, so it wants to detect the different directions. And you got to turn it. Alright, so now it's calibrated. Let's go walk over to the side here. There's people playing golf, so I'm going to be fairly careful with where I operate this. Alright, so what I'm going to do is... Alright, so on the actual unit, there's different settings that you can do. You can do auto takeoff, which what it's going to do is, for those that are just starting out, there's this mode to where it'll automatically lift above 3.9 feet. So you slide the bar, Alright, so once you start the actual unit, it should actually stay there and hover for a little while until you move it. So as you see, it's really stable in the actual gimbal. So all I'm going to do is fly it over to the truck. And you'll be able to see it as it's taking video over near I'm gonna fly it over near the car. If you're just starting out with this, I wouldn't recommend doing this because it is very dangerous, especially if you crash it into something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it straight up. See how high it goes. And there you see from the actual screen, I can control the gimbal and the camera to show you guys how things look. Now what's absolutely awesome is you kind of get used to the orientation of everything. And what's awesome is I can fly it out. So I don't know if you guys can see that on the GoPro. It might be really, really small. But I'm going to fly it towards the back. And you want to make sure that you clear the tree lines. You want to make sure you clear power lines. And you see on the screen it says safe to fly because it's got GPS lock. And you can take a look at the entire neighborhood. It's really, really awesome. That's where I'm at right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. I'm going to fly over my house and show you guys a top-down view of where I'm standing. So I am standing right there. I should be in the center of your screen. If I look straight up, there's the drone. It's right over there on top. Here's the view of the neighborhood. And what's awesome, the range is a couple miles, so I can actually take this out pretty far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it up a little higher. Take it about 300 feet. The max is like a mile high, but I don't want to go that high. Take it forward. There it goes. There goes the drone. The great thing about this is that the actual drone shoots in 4K and 12 megapixel stills, and it's actually using a Sony sensor. So it's very high quality stuff. It's not a cheap camera at all on there. Considering the price, it shouldn't be. But you've got controls for like auto exposure, all kinds of different settings on the device, and it's pretty quick. It's coming back around. I actually went all the way down to that hole, and now I'm back over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it down towards the front yard. Here's my yard. Bring it down. And I'm going to lower it. And the biggest thing you want to do is when you're doing this, you want to watch to see where it's coming down. You don't want to hit any trees because it's going to throw off the actual stabilization. But it's really stable. You can see it coming down. And I'm going to show you guys how much downforce this is actually creating, or downdraft. I'm not sure the exact like terminology for it, but if I run through like these leaves over here, you see how much it's pushing the leaves out. It stays fairly stable, so I'm not actually moving it at all, and it stays in the position. Now what's cool is it's actually got sonar underneath it, so it actually detects how close it is to the ground, and it uses GPS satellites to kind of make sure it doesn't move. So let me land it. And shut it off. So yeah, that's pretty much it, and that's kind of what I used to shoot the video I did yesterday. It's a really awesome system. Now, if you're wondering about price, it's one of those things that you can buy the standard version, which comes with a 2K camera, and the 2K camera is, I want to say, I haven't used it, but I heard that a lot of people end up wanting to get the professional version because the camera has a different sensor on the professional version over the standard version. There is an advanced version that's $100 cheaper than this one, but to be honest with you, if you're gonna spend $1,000 on the drone, you might as well spend the extra $100. Now, it came with an extra battery. The battery lasts about 20 minutes per charge. So with 2 batteries, it lasts about almost an hour. You could have an hour of flight time, almost. About 40 minutes. It really depends on if you're constantly recording or if you're constantly like doing crazy movements or full throttle. But it lasts about 35 to 40 minutes on 2 batteries. But it's absolutely awesome. I recommend it. And if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and I'll try to answer it for you. Or if you want any extra types of video, you want me to show you guys certain things, let me know and I can make a video about that too. So take it easy, guys. Hope you have a wonderful weekend.